Greetings, my esteemed audience. Welcome to LFA Live on a Tuesday night. Tonight, we learn about chosen ones, targeted individuals, and the God Pill.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So once again, thank you all for coming out, and hopefully this isn't that bad of a show. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get on with the show. All right, shout out to the chat. Good to see you guys here. You know, I promised that we would go live on a Tuesday night. So here we are. And we had some people request that we would discuss chosen ones and targeted individuals. So we're going to react to a couple of these videos. And as always, we'll take some calls. And yes, I forgot to put my hat on, but my mom says I look better without it. And your wife's a whore. So try to enjoy the show. Anyways, let's see who we have in the chat. We've got Austin Gray in the house. We've got Neo Starling in the house. We've got Marlon White in the house. We've got ME in the house. C-Dub. He says, LFA collab with Terry Joel Jr. No, but I did see him pop up on my screen when I was looking up chosen ones. So maybe we'll react to one of his videos. And maybe, who knows, one of these days we will have him on. Luis Paseo, Black Savant, Austin Gray. I think I already said that. Nathan Broad, Beautiful Life, Based, Patriot Frog, The One. Oh, fuck yeah. Armin Unra. All right. So that's who we've got in the chat. Now, as we wait for some people to show up, I suppose we can ask a few questions. If you have them, get them in early, because once we start watching the videos, we might not be able to answer them. El Mago Gog in the house from Mexico. Good to have you here, sir. Good to have you here. Now, of course, when we do take calls, you can call about dating advice, or if you're a chosen one or a targeted individual, feel free to call and tell us about that. We'd love to hear it. Damn, that's some good tea. Damn. That's some good tea. Speaking of tea, as I said, when we take calls, if you'd like to spill the tea on any new business that you have that you think that might be interesting for the show to hear, feel free to do that as well. All right, we're at 29 people. It looks like we are starting to get some people in the house. And guys, I don't really know what to expect from these videos. Farouk, what's up, brother? Off air and C. Yeah. Targeted individual. Well, let's see what the business is about here, because it seems to be a pretty big genre on YouTube. Let's start with these two stunning ladies right here. Let's see what they have to say.
Just comments and questions so much about this demonic gang stalking. What is it? How do I get rid of it? This is happening. What do I do? So we have got the answers for you, the steps to be free from demonic gang stalking.
Yes. So we're going to go through this from the top to the bottom, right? So let's start from the very beginning. So what exactly is gang stalking?
So gang stalking is basically demon gangs, which we've talked about plenty. So whenever you have a demon, they hardly ever travel alone, right? When you have like a pack of one, you have a pack of many. So what happens is there is something in this person's life that has opened the door, whether that be a relationship, whether that be an addiction, a sexual addiction, whether that be a drug addiction, whether that be
a word agreement that they've made, something bad. See, we can speak curses over our own life. So when we say things, if we...
I've been gang stalked by pornography. I've been gang stalked by big booty whores. They're all over the place and they call my name.
be very careful because we're making agreements with either good or evil, right? And so when we say negative things in our lives, we are literally casting those things into our life. And so we can get in trouble with that because we can open the door to things in our lives that we don't want to happen.
Exactly. And once we let these people in, so the first thing we're talking about is, what it is. We got notes because we want to be very precise here.
You know what, low key, if you do mess with some pretty low quality chicks, if you get with a like a turbo narcissist, like a chick that's just totally fucked in her head, for some reason, you will attract that multiple times. Like if you're at if you're at a phase in your life where you're like, for whatever reason, attracting narcissists, it's like, it is a thing. Like when you start to attract shitty people, it's like rapid fire. They're coming from all over the place. And it's like, well, maybe you need to fix what you're doing and, play stupid games, win stupid prizes type of deal. Stay away from the bullshit, because when you go around the bullshit, what do you expect?
What it is when so first of all, let's make it very clear that demons are homeless. Okay. Demons are homeless. They cannot operate without a body.
They are persons without bodies.
Right. People without bodies. So they basically will attach themselves either by possession or oppression, depending on whether the person is saved or not. And they will have all their other, demons in the gang come with them. Right. Yeah. So what usually happens is they get a targeted individual, which is from 99% of the people that I've seen who are targeted individuals are very, I don't want to say like important. They're God's soldiers, right?
God's chosen people, right? People with a purpose and a calling.
Exactly. People who have a calling to deliver.
Have you been smoking marijuana?
Other people, right? Who have a very important assignment. So in God's kingdom, and Satan's kingdom, Satan always tries to mirror God's kingdom. He's a counterfeit, right?
To pervert everything that God does.
Exactly. So he's a copycat. He's
no new ideas,
right? He's been doing the same thing over and over and over. And there's nothing new. Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, so what happens is this targeted individual, they get to them by either drugs, sex, relationships, occult activity.
What's the one we were just talking about? Masons, the Freemasons.
Freemasons, any kind of those like secret societies, Illuminati, like all these things, right? So people, if you are a targeted individual, if you are a chosen one, that's because the enemy knows you are a threat. You are a threat.
Well, technically they do have a way to reach you nowadays. If they want to reach you through the internet, they could get your number and send you a number or send you a text or a call, or they could pop up on your feed. I mean, the technology is certainly there.
And he wants to intimidate you. He wants to scare you. He wants to keep you from, number one, knowing Jesus.
That's right.
And number two, carrying out your purpose.
Exactly. Yep. So he'll deceive you. He will put intrusive thoughts in your mind. And I think really that's where it all starts, right? The intrusive thoughts in your mind. And I think where it becomes like gang stalking.
I want to know in the chat, what do you guys think about this? Do you think gang stalking and targeted individuals are a real thing, or do you just think this is a grift to get views on YouTube? I mean, hey, anything is as bad or equal to the manosphere, right? Like if you're a manosphere content creator, you're already the rest of the world kind of looks at you a little funny anyways. So why not be a targeted individual or gang stalker content creator? What do you guys think? Bullshit or real?
Or demonic oppression is where those intrusive thoughts turn into like really, really intrusive thoughts, like so intrusive that you can't tell what's you and what's not you, or what's reality and what's not reality. And it starts to control your life, right? Because that is the point, is to take control of you or to oppress you to the point where you wind up taking your own life so that you don't have to do that assignment that God set out for you. That's the goal of the demonic attacks.
That is definitely, and something that I want you to be really aware of is that if this person, this gang stalker, has a demon who is like a medium, they can read your thoughts. So I was always under the impression that the only people who could read your thoughts was God. And I found out very recently that that's not true. If someone has like a psychic or like, or a medium, like demonic spirit in them, they can read your thoughts, which can
monitoring spirit.
Yeah, which can become so confusing because you're like, how do they know? How do they know what I'm dreaming? How do they know what I'm thinking? How do they know where I'm going? How do they know how to follow me?
And also too, they have been studying human behavior since the beginning of time, right? Because those spirits are eternal. And so they know a lot about us and how we act and how we think. And
Low key, when I go out to make a video in my driveway, I would say about 50% of the time, as soon as I sit down to make that video, this fucking white truck pulls up across the street and comes out of this driveway and turns his lights on and shines them right in my fucking face. And the dude doesn't even live in the neighborhood. Like, I don't know where this fucking guy comes from, but you know, I don't believe that I'm being gang stalked or I'm targeted, but it is kind of fucked up. And I think if somebody out there has any sort of like paranoia going on or something, they'll see things like that and, you know, they'll freak out a little bit.
how we're going to behave, because history repeats itself over and over again.
Absolutely. And I can tell you 100% that when they were studying me, I literally saw them and they would read my journals. They would read my journals. And I would be like, I am so high right now. I feel like I see somebody reading my journal over there. That's so weird. This creature is reading my journal. What is going on? And then that's when the gang stalking started, probably like 6 months later. So they literally took 6 months. They took their time. They are not in a rush. They are strategic. Satan's army is organized and strategic.
Right. And that's something really important to understand, is Satan is not disorganized. Like, he is organized. He has an army and a kingdom, and there are different powers and principalities over cultures and locations and different people and different behaviors. Right. And so it's just important to understand that you're not just fighting like a disorganized person. You're not fighting a person. You're fighting a person without a body. Right. And that's what a demon is.
Right. Absolutely. Principalities and powers. So next question we have is,
before they get to the next question, guys, you have to smash one of them. You can't say neither. You can't say both, but you have to smash one of them, blonde or brunette.
How does it happen? Wait, I want to say something real quick. Like, you were just saying what happened to you. So what happened to me, and I wanted to point this out, is it also has a lot to do with our beliefs, right? And our curiosity, because, when I was in my addiction, I was hearing things and stuff. And then there became a point where it was more than just hearing things. I was hearing things. I was seeing shadows. There were different workings around me. There were different things going on around me that just could not be explained. And it was not just the drug use. Like, it was evil, and so my mind bought into it. And that's where it really started to oppress me at, is when I started to believe that it was taking over, that it was stronger than me, more powerful than me. And actually that's not true, because Jesus is more powerful than anything. And the blood of Jesus covers us, but we have to understand and know our authority so that we can claim the blood of Jesus to protect ourselves. But at that time, I didn't understand that, right? So I was letting those things take over my life. Okay. How does it happen? What are the ways that this can get into your life?
So if the number one thing that in my experience that I've seen has definitely been drug use, drug use and relationships with people who are,
Drug use. You think drug use might make you think you're being targeted by the government or by a secret society or demons. You think. It's no surprise that drugs would be involved with these young ladies, and nothing against what they're saying. There might be a lot of truth, but yeah.
You yourself may be into witchcraft,
Right.
And
it's a big thing these days. I mean, it really
drugs
is.
and
And
witchcraft.
it's not, people think that it's fun and it's cool, but it's actually really not, because maybe on the surface it looks fun and cool, but you don't understand what you are getting yourself into. It goes way deeper and darker than you realize that it does.
Right. So you actually are giving demons legal rights to be around you when you are participating in these things. So, and that has to do with like sin. If you are, sleeping with, a lot of people in the drug world, that's what we do, right? Drug, sex, and rock and roll, right? That's what we do. So it's like, when you're doing that, you have to understand that when you're sleeping with people, you are creating a soul tie with these people, which means that there are more passengers on the bus than you think.
So many more.
So many more. Like if you could see what's attached to a person all back here, you would be like, oh,
You're taking the whole highway with you.
Yes, because they come in gangs. They don't come alone.
Right.
So that there's just so many, making pacts with people, like saying things.
Blood packs. Did you ever used to do one of those when you were a kid?
Yes,
Me too.
Blood packs. Yes. Ouija boards, tarot.
Trick and Tricky says he's not sleeping with any demonic women no more. No more demonic whores. What about that superhead chick from back in the day? She's a soul sucker.
Cards, and everybody nowadays is like, oh, tarot cards are so fun. Like, oh, you're talking to demons. That's not fun. And you're giving
Astronomy.
them, giving them legal right to know what's in your brain. And they're like, how do they know my thoughts? Well, you agreed to that. You know what I'm saying? So,
and actually, when you are like having somebody read your future, like the tarot cards do, right? When they say like, this is what's going to happen, you are agreeing that that is what's going to happen. So if they tell you that some horrible thing is going to happen and you don't renounce it in the name of Jesus, like you just agreed to allow that to come into your life and to happen.
Absolutely. So, and there's so many things. I got a message from a woman today who, believes that
I don't think this is how God works. To all the Christians out there in the chat, I mean, maybe I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I believe that's not how it works. You don't pray for the demon to disappear. That's got to be some sort of just straight up witchcraft. Q. How would you know if they are demonic at LFA? Well, metaphorically speaking or whatever, I've met some women that were absolutely fucking crazy, and you could make the argument that they were demonic. Like, I don't believe in demons, but if one day it were to be proven to me that demons exist, I would say that there's a couple of women that I've been with that have been totally possessed by them. Now, of course, I don't believe that, but I would, you could sway me to believe that. And what happens is they flip on a dime. They go from being your greatest friend, your greatest ally, and somebody that's just in your corner to at the snap of a finger. They're like the look in their eyes is different. It's like the soul has changed. It's not the same person anymore. And they're violent and angry and evil. I've met women like that. It does happen. And I can understand why a lot of guys would think that that's true.
Her boyfriend and his friends, who are all the gang stalkers, have been live streaming her for months.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like selling her off. There's a huge thing right now with there's something called the Justice Fund, and they are having this huge lawsuit against Pornhub because of all these underage girls and all these girls who did not know. They were drugged, passed out, and got a bunch of guys like raping them, and guys, demonic entities love violence, and they love things that hurt people, right? So addiction to pornography is another one. That's another huge open door to demonic forces, right? You can develop spirit spouses, which is a spirit spouse or an incubus or succubus spirit that comes and has sex with you at night. Like, I used to have one, and when it first happened, I was like, oh, this is amazing, because they're good at what they do.
What about you fellas? You ever had a demon come and fuck you in the middle of the night? Wet dream type stuff? Any of you semen retention cats out there ever had that? Now, I will say, to what she's saying, many, many times I'll have a dream that I'm hooking up with an ex-girlfriend or some chick that I work with or something of that nature. I mean, we can go on that level and say, well, it's a demon sneaking their way into your dream. But I think you're just subconsciously fantasizing about fucking that chick. Nothing wrong with it.
But then I realized the Lord showed me like what the spirit really looked like. And I was like, oh, that's not what he looked like when we were, no.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that Face and LMS video when he had the Frenchman who was a short, balding 65-year-old, but he was going on the dating apps and posing as a young, hot Giga Chad, and then luring the women into his, what do you call it? His bungalow, and cutting the lights off and giving them 50 Shades of Grey type of fantasy sex. With, they were blindfolded and the lights were off, so they never saw what he looked like. But then one of the girls took the blindfold off and snapped the lights on and took him to court, and he did prison time.
Like that's it is counterfeit. It is not real. And then try to get into a relationship or a marriage that is actually pure and holy, and that spirit spouse or incubus or succubus will destroy your marriage. Do everything in its power, cause jealousy, cause insecurity, cause fights. I mean, it's powerful. So keeping yourself pure. Obviously, none of us are perfect, right? We all sin. We all fall short of the glory of God. But being aware of, even if you're not a Christian or a follower of Jesus, staying on the good path, only letting things that are going to add goodness to your life
and abundance and goodness and peace,
purity and
joy
light,
and good things. Like, even no matter what, in your heart the difference between right and wrong, right? And so when you do good things, like, good things come back to you, and when you don't do good things, not so good things come back to you. I mean, I don't know. That's definitely been my experience with it. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what are so just so you guys know, we are going to revival tonight.
Yes.
So we're not gonna be able to stay on too long. We will be here for about another 15 minutes with you guys. So we'll try to get to some of the comments at the end. But so tell us, Jamie, what are some of the symptoms? Like, how would somebody know if this is what was happening to them?
Okay. So first of all, these people can tap into your devices, your phones. They can put tracking things on you. The craziest thing to me was, wherever I would go, I would see the same people. And there would be people, say I go to a gas station, people like pretending to pump gas, and they weren't.
Base Patriot Frog says, LFA, do you think Craig Groeschel is spitting the gospel, or do you think he blurs the lines with motivational speakers, with pastor with new age mysticism? I used to go to Life Church as well, bro. It ain't right, he says. I don't have much faith in any mega churches, or for the most part, any American churches. Like, very seldom will I find any that seem legit. I do think he's a good guy. I think he has a genuine heart and he means to do what's right, but he runs a massive mega church, and he's very focused on not offending people. And sometimes if you want to, and this goes for any religion, I don't think there's any religion out there that, if you're staying true to it and you're actually reading the word, that you can be non-offensive. Like, you're going to offend somebody, and that's just the way it is. And religion is like that. It's basically a book of rules that you have to live by. And anytime you apply rules, there's people that aren't going to, fit into that set of rules, and they're going to be offended, and it's just the way that it is. But I don't know. Craig Groeschel does spread the word around the world, so I'll give him credit. And, he seems like an all right guy. Plus, he follows me on Instagram, so shout out. Anyways, actually, I don't think he does anymore. He used to, like, a couple years ago, but I'm not pretty sure he doesn't anymore. We'll be right back with these two ladies to finish up in just a moment.
Hi, Gilbert Gottfried, USA Up All Night, and we're watching The Girl I Want. And in this next part of the movie, everybody strips down stark naked and starts running around with primitive abandon. And, well, what do you want? My head's in a jar and I can't see anything. I just have to fantasize what's going on. Let's go back to The Girl I Want. Then Linnea Quigley, stark naked, starts doing these cartwheels.
Creepy crawlers! They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green. The grossest little creatures that you've ever seen. Creepy crawlers! Creepy crawlers!
Creepy crawlers. Other plastic goop compounds and molds sold separately from Toymax.
Listen to hot, steamy sex from the people who love you the most. Your parents.
Try a little to the left, Dad.
Come on, you can spank Mom harder than that.
Finish her!
Oh my God, Mom, you are such a freak. Now I know where I get it from.
And now back to the movie with women who really know how to kill a good time. Among other things, Cemetery High on USA, up all night.
Welcome back to the show, guys. I try to make those commercials as entertaining as possible. Sometimes I don't even need a break. I just like to play them. As long as they're good and they keep your eyes on the screen. Anyways, let's get back to the video and see what these two lovely young ladies have to say.
This is what was happening.
Okay, so first of all, these people can tap into your devices, your phones. They can put tracking things on you. The craziest thing to me was wherever I would go, I would see the same people. The same people. And there would be people say, I go to a gas station, people like pretending to pump gas and they weren't even really pumping gas. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? You know, like they're just, wherever I went, I kept seeing the same people. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I know I'm not crazy because I seen that same girl with that long t-shirt on, you know what I mean? Like 20 times this week. We can't be on the same CVS gas station schedule. Like, we just can't be, you know? So seeing the same people over and over again, losing your memory. All of a sudden you like, you know, don't know what happened. You're with your friend or with this guy or with some people. And then bam, you wake up the next morning. Maybe you wake up with no clothes on, tied up. That's happened to me a couple times. And you don't know what happened. Okay. So you've got to keep yourself safe. That is like the biggest thing. Do not ever let anyone take your phone. Never. Don't care. Oh, you don't have a phone? Okay. Well, you can borrow somebody else's. Like, don't let people take your phone. Let's see, something else. Oh, and like we're talking about intrusive thoughts, right? Yeah. If you have like thoughts of like someone like telling you that you should kill yourself, telling you that, you know what I mean, your mom's not your real mom, or your dad's not your real dad, or your family's not real and they don't care about you, you know what I mean? Like these kind of just like crazy, outlandish thoughts, that could be it. You may start to see things, right? Like you might like say you're doing meth, but all of a sudden you're like real sleepy and you're starting to like hallucinate, right? They're drugging you. You know what I'm saying? So things like that.
Yes, which actually happens a lot these days. So you have to be really careful. It is not safe out there. It's really not.
Absolutely.
They're drugging you?
Absolutely. Now, you know, the sick thing is that, you know, these gangs are not, you know, they're not a respecter of persons. So like anybody could be in it, right? We're not talking about just, you know, people on the street. You know what I mean? There could be high ranking people who are in this also, who have a lot more control and influence. They could use fear tactics to make you worry or believe things. So they cause intimidation, fear, and isolation. Right. These are the things. They want you to be scared. They want you to be to not be praying. They want you to not be with your family. They want you to, you know, and some people's family. I've heard of families, the gang stalkers that, you know, came after me. They were like a family satanic cult. So weird, you know? Right. But yeah, there's like whole families. So it could be somebody in your family, especially if they are into occult witchcraft. Or it could be like generational curses that bring these people to you. Right. Someone in your family could have done a blood sacrifice 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Because it says the sins fall to the third and fourth generation of the children, you know? So there are so many things that it could make this, allow this to be part of your life. But the symptoms are, you know, the people, they don't want you to be away from them. That's something. If you find it like so strange, like, and it's tricky, right? Because you think you're in this relationship. Oh no, he just really wants to be with me all the time. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, no, he's controlling and keeping track of you. You know, and it's unfortunate. You know, I feel like a lot of it has to do with human trafficking and things like that, like putting people on the internet, like prostituting while you're sleeping. You know what I mean? All these things. So it's very dangerous. Understand I had Stockholm syndrome, right?
Mhm.
Which is where you think
Yeah.
you think that your
Me too.
your person, your victimizer
Mhm.
is your friend. Oh, they really care about me. They just have issues. No, they
Mhm.
don't. They don't care about you.
Right.
They're
The
their
person that
job-
abuses you and hurts you and literally keeps you prisoner, right? They don't want you to be out with your friends or your family or have a job. They want you to be prisoner. And
I'm pretty sure they're just talking about narcissists. Has anybody out there ever dated a narcissist? They want to constantly like belittle you and make you feel bad about yourself, but they want to keep you in their possession. Like you're not a significant other to them. Instead, you're like a shiny watch that they want to be able to pick up off the shelf and put on. You're their property. You know, they want to be able to put you on and take you off as they go and leave and go find a new watch whenever they want. But they always want you to be right there in the jewelry box, right there on the dresser, so they can always come back to you and pick you up once again.
they abuse you, right? Psychologically, physically, or anyway, really. And then you start to think, oh, well, they had a bad life. That's why they act the way that they do. Oh, well, they really do love me because maybe once a week they say something nice to me, you know, like you take those little small acts of kindness and disregard all of the other like horrendous things that they're doing other than that. Like that's Stockholm syndrome.
Yep. And these people could be supporting your drug habit.
Mhm.
Okay. Not wanting you to get sober. I'm sorry, but I've never met anybody who truly cares about me that wanted to continue to give me drugs.
Right.
Yeah, well, obviously, if somebody wants to continue giving you drugs and they want you to be fucked up and, you know, just delusional all the time, they're trying to keep you at your lowest so you'll never have a chance to leave them. So you'll never be able to go out there and be the best version of yourself and find somebody better than them while they continue to abuse you and mistreat you. I mean, that's just the way a narcissist works.
Unless they have their own selfish ambition or were, you know, demonically controlled for demonic reasons.
And that's exactly what it's about, is control, right? Power and control. That's what it wants, is power and control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you know what it is, right, and what might happen and how it comes about, now is the really, really important part, right?
Yes.
How to be free from that when it happens.
Right.
So I think the first part, right, that we were talking about before is you have to want to be free. I mean, that's really the first thing, is you have to come to it on your own terms that you really want to be free, and not just want, like you desperately want to have this out of your life.
Mm-hmm. Also, coming to the realization that this is something greater than you and you need something greater than it to deliver you.
Exactly. That's the only way that I know of that you can be delivered, is to call out to God, right? To call out to Jesus, because he is the one that sets you free. Who the Son sets free is free indeed.
Right. But unless you do some things, you have to take some precautionary measures, you'll go right back in because you will reopen the doors. So first thing that you have to do is, you know, repent. You have to get right with God, right? So repenting from, you know, whatever sin it is that you are involved in with these gang stalkers, you know, or even, you know, in your life. Repentance is the first thing, because repentance is, you have to get right with God for God to hear you. Right. Like you've got to get right with God. So turning your heart full toward him, like, God, I need your help. I cannot do this alone. Help me. I know that I participated in XYZ,
and specifically say, I repent for this, right? And if you're not sure what it is, you can pray for God to reveal to you what it is that you need to repent from as well.
Absolutely. And then after you know, ask God for help and get right with him, you need to understand your authority that comes from being right with God. So you have authority, and you actually, if you have accepted Jesus in your life as your savior and you've repented and you're right with God, you have the authority to tell these guys to get lost. And they have no authority. And you can't just do it in like a sissy way. I don't think we can do that anymore. No, you are not allowed in my life anymore. You have no authority over me. I belong to Jesus, and I've been bought with the blood of Christ. And you have to go because you are trespassing. Right? Call on the name of Jesus.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And just know that you're covered in the blood of Jesus, right? So then when you repent and you renounce that sin or whatever it is, and then you ask for God to deliver you through the blood of Jesus, then you have to eliminate anything in your life that may be a stumbling block moving forward, right? Because let's say that you were using tarot cards. You need to get those out of your home so that it doesn't come back into your life, because just because you get it out doesn't mean it can't come back. Like you have to protect yourself from that in the future.
Gifts. Oh, here.
These ladies are just they're making an excuse for the fact that they date men that use and abuse them. They both look like they've been drained. You know, they both look a bit sad, like somebody, like a man has used and abused them in the past. And they just justify it by saying that it was demonic forces. But in reality, they were dating an emotionally abusive dude that probably cheated on them all the time.
Here we go. Gifts. Gang stalkers love to give you gifts. You know why?
Yeah, see, they're just describing like a dude that's cheating on them and abusing them. And then he's like, why do you always make me abuse you? And then he comes back after he abuses them and cheats on them and buys them a gift to get them back.
Because they have things attached to them. So you have to literally destroy them. Like take a hammer, you know, you might have to get a whole new phone. You might have to get a whole new computer or do like a reset on your computer. Do not let people in your house. Like you're going to have to go get a whole new group of friends. I would always suggest to go to a church and join, if you're a woman, join a women's, you know, women's weekly Bible study, women's meeting, whatever, so that you can have support, because it's going to be really hard for you to trust people again. That's going to be huge.
Find a Bible believing, spirit filled church, right? And they will help you to stay free from that and to find support. And with women too, I think it is really important to have support from women as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, don't be afraid to like call out that spirit. Like they have no, like they can instill all the fear that they want, but in Jesus' name, you have to go. You have no authority with me. Same thing with intrusive thoughts. Okay. Spirit of fear, in the name of Jesus, I bind you and I cast you out. Any word curses that you made, say one of your gang stalkers, you were like, oh, we're going to be together forever. I renounce that word curse. I break it off my life. If you had generational curses, break those. You have that authority and power over your husband or wife and over your children.
And if you are struggling with what words to say, you can literally Google how to break free from soul ties, what to say for deliverance, how to bind something in Jesus' name. And it will literally give you different examples. So you can always find a way to know what to say if you struggle with that.
Right. And to bind something means to take it under arrest. So you basically like tie it up so it can't talk to you anymore. You know what I mean? And you can tell them like, shut up. You are not allowed to talk to me. You have no right to talk to me. I serve Jesus, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and you are trespassing and you have to shut up and don't talk to me anymore. And you literally, that is your authority. Like all they are is smoke and mirrors.
That's right.
That's
exactly.
It's just fear and intimidation tactics. The little, what do you call it? Street theater, all the street theater, all that stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? You have to get out of the fear and intimidation and understand that he who lives in you is greater than he who lives in the world.
That's right.
Yes.
Amen.
It kind of sounds like make yourself your mental point of origin. Shout out to the rational male.
I love that. That's so true. And once you realize that, like all of those things that used to scare you, like when I was a little girl and I was afraid of the dark, or, you know, like when I was in that place where I was in my addiction and those things were attacking me and it was terrifying me. Like today, that stuff doesn't scare me anymore because I know whose I am and I know who I am and I know that I'm covered in the blood, right? So I know that none of that stuff has any power over me anymore. So it doesn't take hold or take root in my life anymore.
Also, continuously praying, like playing praise and worship music.
Yeah.
Anoint your house. Take anointing oil, put it over all the doorposts, the inside and out. You have a closet, the outside one and the inside one, right? And say anything that is not of the Holy Spirit, you must go right now in the name of Jesus. You are not welcome here. You are trespassing. And
I think Christianity is more of a faith. You know, it's something you believe in and you serve. You're supposed to serve Christianity. You're supposed to serve the church and the community and be thankful. You're not supposed to like use them to facilitate or to fight against demonic forces. I don't think that's the way it works.
Literally do that on every single door on the inside and the out, and then go to your back door. Same thing. Open the back door, tell them to leave, get out. and slam and give them a minute to get out. You can hear shrieking. You can hear things like
Have you been
whatever,
smoking
and then they
marijuana?
They go to the front door and do the same things.
There you have it, you guys. So we got just a couple minutes left. So we're going to take a few of these comments real quick, and then we got to go because we're going to revival. Okay. Let's see here. So true. Brianna says, I always say, whoops. All right. We're just going to read them. Brianna says, I always say don't talk negatively about ourselves because we're not claiming that. Exactly. Yep. Eddie says, running clean and sober, being the one to guide one towards a new way of life is truly a blessing on both sides. Amen. This is Steve's grandma. She says, I'm glad that you made it to Jamie's. That's where we just left from.
Grandma.
We love you, Grandma. Okay. Remnant said, I told people for years I have so many telepathic conversations, and for so many times preachers tell me the Bible says not even Satan can read your mind. You know, I've always heard that too, but I have to say, like, I believe that I've seen evidence in my life ruin your good morals and values.
The versions, because sometimes it's hard, but using like definitely like you saying dividing the word, like meditating on it. God, what does this mean? Right?
It says we're supposed to meditate on the word like a cow chews grass, right? So you know how they're like going through the field all day, picking up grass and chewing on it, going back and forth. Like that's what we're supposed to do with the word.
Absolutely.
Like the cow grazes. That's what it's called, grazing. Okay. Michelle Lynn. I love Michelle. I was in treatment with Michelle. She says, I love you too. Look at us, not grounded to addiction and free. No man can hold you for what God has forgiven you for, ascending, going home one day. Amen. Okay. So you guys, we'd love to stay and chat with you guys a little bit longer, but we are heading out soon. So yeah, we'll see you guys again Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Say goodbye, chat. Say goodbye. All right. I know one of you mentioned Terry Joel Jr. So I suppose we can pull up a video of him. That was actually, YouTube selected him next, by the way, anyways. It wasn't even. Oh, wait, no, I like the video. Terry Joel Jr. Hold on, he's a YouTuber, a pretty decent sized YouTuber, right? Let's go over to his channel. I just want to see 69,000 subscribers. Roast the rest and become the best. That's his motto. 13 million views, 2,727 videos out of Canada. Pretty decent channel. All right, let's hear what he has to say.
So in this video, for all the targeted individuals out there, I'm going to give this video to you guys as it is. I'm going to tell you what you have to do in order to stay sharp, in order to succeed, because there's a lot of people out there that's going to try to knock you off your square. And this stuff is never easy to talk about, but we're going to talk about it once again. And there's definitely secrets to success. There's definitely secrets to how you act and behave and do the things that you got to do to stay safe, to stay grounded, to stay up, all at the same time. And all in all, you just have to keep living life and keep learning and keep progressing, and things will turn very good. But if you're always doing the wrong things, if you're always under certain stresses, it's going to really take a toll on you. And I know how this is because I felt very swarmed once upon my days. I have a lot of freedom today. I get to do a lot of the things that I want to do when I want to do them. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to not be under a curse. It's a blessing to not be under stresses of so many dark spirit people. It's a blessing. And the reason why you must stay low.
Yeah, I see you guys in the chat talking about Mike Todd. Yeah, he's basically just like a, like, isn't he using church money to buy like gold chains and like Gucci and Louis Vuitton and stuff? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with spending your money as a pastor, like, because you've earned that money technically, and people have supported you and they believe in you. That's why they give you the money. But, you know, it's, Yeah, it's questionable for sure.
And stoic as a targeted individual is because it is the only way. You can't stay in the mix with everybody else. You got to stay low. You got to hang low and stay stoic at the same time. Be who you are. Stay in your energy. Don't get mixed up in everybody else's thoughts and energy. You must stay low and stoic and be who you are. No matter how hard that may be, it is the formula to success. You can't give in. There's going to be little times where you feel like giving in here and there and there and here and whatever. You're going to feel not on point 24/7. There's going to be times where you feel a certain way. There's going to be times where you feel fear, uncertainty. And you know what they say. Feel the fear and do it anyways. You must do the right things all the time. Even under fear. Even under whatever circumstances you may be in, you must do the right thing for yourself and for your well-being. It is not easy, and it is never easy being a targeted individual. If you are a targeted individual, I'm just going to tell you right now, there's a few different reasons as to why you would be, but to say the least, you're different. No one who is the same as everybody else is a targeted individual. There's no reason to target you. But you will be a target individual if you are different, if you're doing your own thing, if you're speaking for yourself, through your own mind, through your own soul. You will be targeted if you are different, like I said. And some people are targeted because they pissed off the world. They did things wrong to everybody else. They mess with the wrong people. And you rightfully deserve everything that is coming to you. So you must deal with that. And, everybody can learn their lesson. Somebody can do something wrong and you can learn your lesson. But just make sure you be careful who you're dealing with out there. Because I don't feel sorry for these people that put themselves in positions that they are hated. There's deserved hate and there's undeserved hate. People who get undeserved hate are hated for the wrong reasons. They're hated because they're good. They're hated because they do all the right things. They're hated because people want to be like them. It's the hater syndrome. And then there's deserved hate where somebody does something to receive it.
All right, I'm going to end this. I've lost almost half of my viewers watching this video. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, the God pill. I like self-developed. I think we've chatted in comment sections and things a few times, but I don't really see much of his videos being recommended anymore on my channel, but I guess he's been God-pilled recently. So let's hear what he has to say. And I don't care if everybody stops watching. We can drop down to 10 viewers. I'm still going to watch it.
And all right, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video on the Self-Developed YouTube channel, you beautiful people. We have a little team. I don't want to say a cult, but a team, a little orchestra, a little discipleship, if you will, guys. Not too many of us, but this movement of biblical masculinity, of being based, living a virtuous life, is growing rapidly. And speaking of that, who we are attacking is, multiple things. Really, it's just degeneracy, and it's the promotion of sin, because we're all going to sin. We all do sin. Hopefully not willingly, or we try to as least as we can. But there's one thing, guys, between just living your life and, falling short. We make mistakes. Like, I get it, right? We all do. But there's another thing with individual.
The reason why I don't go full God pill and push religion on people is because I know that amongst my audience, I have a lot of different types of people from a lot of different religions and all over the world and all sorts of things. And I think there's certain things that everybody can unite on. Like everything that he's probably going to promote in this video could very easily be promoted without religion. And there's nothing wrong with religion. I think it's a good thing. I think Christianity is a good thing, but everything that he's about to promote could be promoted without even bringing religion into it. Right? To say, well, you shouldn't be running around hooking up with all these girls because it's a sin. Like if you just don't put because it's a sin on the end of it, then it's just basic, basic knowledge that everybody can unite on. Or like, if you were to talk about whatever, drugs and alcohol and partying and things like that, like it's all degenerate. Whether it's a sin or not, you could still call it out and steer people in the right direction. But I wouldn't want to alienate all of my, all of my audience. There's just too many different groups.
Especially creators here on this platform promoting that. You understand? That's the biggest difference. There's a neutrality, right? All make mistakes, but there is then no, that is somehow a good thing. So,
but that is true. Like, I don't know. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people on YouTube. There's a lot of dudes in the manosphere that, they'll promote like why you should be having sex with more girls. They're like, oh, you're 21. You should be going out with a new girl every night. You should be cold approaching 20 women per day. You should be going out on it, trying to go out on a date, at least 3 dates a week. You should be trying to spin plates and have 5 girlfriends. And it's like, wait, this dude's 21. Shouldn't he be like building a business, hitting the gym, going to college? Like, shouldn't you tell him to focus on something a little bit better than that? And that's when you realize like the majority of quote unquote gurus haven't really done much in their lives. And the only advice that they have to give is go out and get laid. And it's like, don't you think getting laid is sort of an escape? It's a distraction from reality. It's not actual, like if you were to have sex with 2 girls in the next year versus having sex with 20 girls in the next year, is it really going to make a difference? Like, is it really going to make a massive impact on your life? Like, fuck yeah, I fucked 20 girls this year, or I fucked 2 girls this year. Does it matter? After it's all said and done, are you going to look back on those memories? Like, everybody out there that's hooked up with, anybody out there that's hooked up with more than 10 women in the chat, or any women that have hooked up with more than 10 men, do you look back on your life and think about any of them? Like, are any of them an accomplishment? If it's not somebody that you had a serious relationship with or had children with or something like that, then it was probably meaningless. Like, there's really no point. So any guy out there that's going to spend like his whole entire 20s just smashing as many women as possible, realistically, you should probably find something better to do with your time, because 10 years from now, you're not going to look back and be like, oh boy, I fucking did it all. Experience is overrated. Anybody that tells you like experience is what really matters. I need these experiences. I need to travel. I need to party. I need to have a good time. I need to hook up with as many women as possible. It's all overrated. It's all overrated. You don't look back and like think about these memories and just think like, wow, I'm so glad I did that. It's fun to fantasize about. It's fun to pursue. It's fun to do. But after it's all said and done, you look back and it's usually either chaos, heartbreak, feeling like shit, regret. Typically, that's what you get from it. You don't, even if you were to have to go out and have a threesome with 2 hot girls, afterwards, it's not like you're like all pumped up. After you get the post-nut clarity, you're not like all pumped up like, fuck yeah, I fucked 2 girls, I'm the fucking man. No, you're going to be like, it's kind of a waste of time. Like, I mean, it's just the reality of the way it is. There's no reason to even pursue that. But, the one way that you can describe that is it's a sin and you shouldn't do it. And that's what, the God pill preaches. They say it's a sin and you shouldn't do it. But you could find morals from something other than religion. I'm not preaching for atheism. I mean, I grew up a Christian, but you could very easily just say, look, it's immoral. Don't do it. And then you wouldn't alienate the audience. In this day and age, we live in we have so much diversity that, I don't know if it's a good idea on a platform like YouTube to promote one specific religion, unless you want to be like a Christian YouTuber or a Muslim YouTuber or whatever. But for the most part, you can pull those morals from yourself without even looking to any religion.
We are the opposite. I feel like we're literally like Luke Skywalker, the opposing force that's saying, no, do not do that. Stop these degenerate behaviors. And isn't it funny how it's like the red pill, it's like the red lightsaber, and it's just a massive army of just low consciousness people. And we're like the small group that's like, stop it, be gone, you shall not pass. And eventually we come back to that middle ground. So with that said, guys.
Carrie, are you on? Carrie, are you on?
Hopefully you're having an awesome day. Let's get into the video and begin. So guys, in today's video, I titled it Red Pill, the Red Lightsaber is Beta AF. And instead, what's to follow? The blue lightsaber. Speaking of blue, I got a new light. This, you guys probably don't know, but there's a light here and it can turn blue. I'm not going to change it now, but I was playing with the whole lighting setup for like half an hour, and then I realized, David, stop getting too fancy. Just stick to what's been working. So here we go.
But honestly, shout out to Self-Developed for sticking to his guns, you know, and actually, you know, sticking to what he believes in.
We are. The blue lightsaber, right, for the context of this video, is going to be not the red pill, but the God pill. This is the pill of virtue. This is the pill of religion, of following Christ, of being based, of living a better life, guys. And now I've been coming to this blue pill. Not this blue pill, sorry. The God pill. The lightsaber, not the blue pill. I've been coming to this God pill. It's taken me a long time, guys, but the content has always been just building up to this. And I can confidently look at you in the eyes now and say the one thing that the red pill community needs is just this. So let's elaborate. Now, the reason I say this is because I believe in 2023, the masses of individuals are waking up. I think throughout the world collectively, let's just say the red lightsaber, the red pill for the sake of this video, we'll kind of call this like promotion of sin, corruption, evil. It's just evil, bro, okay? However you may think it's not, it's just fun and games, it's evil, it's sin, it's wrong. Especially because it's being promoted. There's one thing of just sin, like we said, but the promotion, that's evil, that's wrong, okay? I feel now the world collectively is beginning to wake up and realize, you know what, right? Maybe this was a step in our journey, but it's no longer the final.
This guy's full of shit.
Is that you think he is? Why?
Let me explain why. Because, hey, I'm over 60. I'm going to tell you, there's what I call an arc to life. An arc. Okay. A-R-C, I guess. Arc. Here's the arc. Now, when you're in your early 20s, like this guy's talking about, let's face it, or late teens, early 20s, if you're not having, I'm just going to say it, at least when I was that age, if you're not having sex with a woman, preferably a girlfriend, which I usually had, or I don't recommend a wife at that age, but either a girlfriend. I never recommend just pumping and dumping for anybody, even at a young age. If you want to have a one-night stand periodically, that's cool, but that's a little dangerous. But there's an arc. So when you're in your 20s,
Carrie, what's your stance on sex out of wedlock? Because I think that's the big thing that he's saying, whether it's from a religious standpoint or just like a moral standpoint. What do you think of?
Obviously, I'm for it, because if we didn't have sex out of wedlock, nobody would be getting laid. Nobody's getting married. Here's my point, though. If you, I just want to sum this up real quick. If you're in your 20s, I think you should be having as much sex as you can, because you got raging hormones and all this, you know. And then, you know, even all through your life, you should have sex. And then here's the arc. Once you might get stuck in a marriage.
Carrie, before you get to the arc, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is the what do you get out of having sex a lot? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. In my 20s, for the most part, I was in a relationship with one girl. But like when I was like right around 30, and also when I was right around like 18, and those two time periods, they're both like man whore phases where I hooked up with tons of girls. Like when I was 18, 19, 20, and when I was like 30, 31, 32, it was like nonstop. Like it seemed like it was a new girl every night. I'm going to be honest, but I got nothing out of that. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like it wasn't some sort of an experience. I mean, maybe it made me more skilled or better at talking to women or something of that nature, more skilled in the bedroom as well. But I don't think, like, looking back, it's not like, man, I'm so glad I did that.
No,
like, you know,
I'm not No, you mistook what I said in a way. Let me articulate it this way. I'm not saying guys should go out they should have a lot of sex, but not necessarily with a lot of different women. I'm saying with the same woman in a girlfriend relationship. Like when I was like 18 to 21, I had one girlfriend and she wasn't living with me, but we'd have sex 2-3 times a week at her parents' house, at my house. In other words, she was horny, I was horny. So it was the same girl. We would just have a lot of sex. I'm saying guys should have a lot of sex, but primarily with one woman. I think if it's with one woman, I think if you're having a lot of sex in your 20s with one woman, a girlfriend, that's cool. But then if I think it's better to either stay a virgin or be abstinent, like this guy's talking about, versus going out and fucking a lot of women in your 20s. I think you should fuck a lot, LFA, but you shouldn't fuck a lot of women. You should stick to doing fucking 1 or 2 women a lot, not fucking 100 women.
Okay, so which one is more important? Which one is more important? Fucking a lot of girls or finding a good girlfriend?
Finding a good girlfriend. That's what yeah, obviously.
Are you of the belief that fucking more women increases your chances of finding a good girlfriend?
No, I don't think it increases your chances of finding a good girlfriend. It may even hurt your chances of finding a good girlfriend, because my theory is, guys, listen up. If you have your eye on a certain woman, like a crush on her, or you're starting to court a certain woman, my attitude is totally counter to these red pill guys, these guys who say, go out and fuck a bunch of women. You know, my attitude is, if you're honing in on one woman, you probably shouldn't be having sex with any other ladies for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, or you should be abstinent. Here's what I'm going to say. If you're looking for a serious relationship, it's best not to be having sex with anybody, because if you're having friends with benefits or anything like that, it's going to keep you from finding a good girlfriend. There's no way you can be banging a bunch of chicks and find a good girlfriend or a good wife. You can't be. You have to abstain from sex.
Understood. So
Yeah.
Tricky, what do you think about that?
LFA, if I may, because early on the video, I could see you was talking about these, you shared this video with these women.
Yeah.
With this demonic force business and stuff. And if I may, if you would allow on your show, if I could explain one of my experiences 10 years ago.
Sure.
Cheers, mate. But it's just can take it from like way back. Like, so when I was 14, I started boxing and stuff because I was bullied in elementary school for many years. You know, I became taller, I lost the weight, I started to fight, and suddenly it's just started to the evolution of confidence started to grow. Everything, you know, people started to notice you, this and that. And it starts to like dwindle out these people that are like, wait a minute, you guys, why treat me like this now? You guys always used to like bully my ass, but now because I can fight and I can stick up for myself, now you want to be a part of this. What is this? So I started to attract a lot of different people who had like different forces, and I was like, what's going on here? But then I was always like avoiding the female attraction thing because my trainers used to say you can't speak to women, like a bit like the Rocky 1 movie where I think it was Mickey. He says Rocky that women weaken your knees or something. So I used to like say to myself, all right, well, I'm just gonna stay away from the women then. So, but there was one evening at a party where one of my friends invited me, and the funny thing is that he told me all night long, Tricky, stay away from this woman. And I was like, because I've never experienced that female attraction like that before. Like, she just came onto me like a tsunami, like a hurricane, and I was overwhelmed. And I still had my trainers like voices in my ear, like, oh, you can't speak to women. So I was like, all right, but I'm gonna give it like a chance. And my friend, he said, did you sleep with her? I said, yes, she took my virginity and stuff. And I fell into the trap. But I couldn't have known then if it was a trap. But definitely go after it with her.
Caller, could you
I would say 3 months, things started to get really interesting. LFA and Kerry and LFA family. So my dad, he took me boxing training. Right?
It sounds like you fell into her vagina, not her trap. Just kidding.
Yeah, Carrie, check this out, baby. Check this out. So my dad, he picked me up from boxing training, and my trainer told my dad that Tricky Tricky's a bit tired. He had a tough sparring session. So just go easy on him, because my dad, he was very or he still is. He's a very he expects a lot out of you. So, but he went easy on me, thank God. Strong, a very strong man. But I told him that I would like to go to now my then ex-girlfriend's house. He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah." So he drove me up there, and he dropped me off. I knock on the door. It's her mum that's answering the door, because she was at her mum's back then. So I go up. I'm like, where is she? She's in the room. I'm like, all right. So I knock on the door, LFA and Carrie, and there's like no answering. I'm like, what's going on? So I just, stick my head in, and LFA, crazy shit.
It was your dad in there.
She's sitting.
Wait, I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say your dad was in there banging her. Sorry.
That would have been messed up. Then I might have to tell my mum about that. But she was sitting on the edge of the bed with like a kitchen knife, like scraping her back. I'm like, whoa, what the heck is this?
She couldn't find a back scratcher. No, just kidding.
I was like 18. I'm like, what is this? What is going on? And she was 19 back then, by the way. And so I approached her and I'm like, give me that, So I received the knife. I put it down. I said, what are you doing? And she told me she has like some problems mentally. I'm like, interesting.
No kidding.
So I take the knife, I put it in the kitchen, and I give her like a little rinse. I go back to her and I'm like, so we can talk, this is a friendly environment. It's all right. And then she's like, Tricky, I have something to tell you. I'm like, all right. It's in my journal though. I'm like, So she reaches for her journal, LFA, and then I'm not quite sure if I want to read this. I can see she's wrote a lot of things. So I ask her, well, you want to show me some? Then you can read it up to me. So then she tries to she tries to turn off the lights a bit, make a bit of a creepy atmosphere, and I'm like, I'm just not buying it. I'm just like, this is getting weird now. But suddenly it gets serious. So as she's reading her journal, apparently it says, of course my real name, I'm just referring to my YouTube name, Tricky, but she says, Tricky, these boy, we don't like you, Tricky. And every time you're with, my ex, the voices in her head goes away. But now we want to reveal the voices to you. I'm like, what kind of voices are you talking about? So she slams the book. She stares at me, and literally anything, Carrie, it's still so ingrained in my mind, because you got to think this was a sober experience. Back then I didn't have no drinks, alcohol, smoking, nothing. I was sober. Of course, I was boxing, so I've had some blows to the head and stuff, but I was a very decent fighter, so I always used to protect myself. I've not got any head injuries like now, so I have the MRI scan and stuff. So everything was good. And I was really good back then. But so everything that I've witnessed back then was a sober experience. I'm like, Jesus. So the way she stared at me, it's not like a demon came out, these demonic figures. It was more the look was so intense, as if I was locked within her look. So I was staring at her. I was like, what the fuck? And it's like that she locked my whole entire system, with that energy she was sending out. And I could see it wasn't her, it was something else. The voice had shifted her face a bit, still her face, but with different shapes. I was like, But my right eye started to swell up. I'm like, what the fuck? Was this an allergic reaction to her weirdness with those demonic voices? I don't know. So I started I kind of screamed a bit. I was like, ah! So I turned around and I ran out of the room and I shut the door. So her mum, she stood in the kitchen, and I told her that, excuse me, madam, there's something wrong with your daughter. she just made my eyes swell up just by staring at me in a really fucked up way. And she said, yeah, I know she has trouble. She has issues. We've been trying to help her throughout time. She just want to help. I'm like, wow, there's a demon inside of that one. Absolute insane. And that's why, you know, after that evening, I've always been Christian, but I became like a super Christian. You know, I became like, whew, this is too crazy for me, man. And at the face, she was banging. She was fine. Oh, she was fine. But that's the thing, like the Elvis Presley song. You're the devil in disguise. I could see it in your eyes, baby.
Yeah.
You're lucky she didn't cut. He's lucky she didn't cut his penis off or something. I mean, LFA. She must have been one hell of a fucky fuck for him to even go back there a second time. I mean,
gentlemen, check this out. One of my old boxing mates. He went to the same school as her. He said, Tricky, behind your back, she was with every guy. Every guy.
Maybe she got knocked in the head or two.
She was in the gym. She was in the school quarters and stuff. She was just every guy, every like Chad, Kyle, Kevin, you name it. She always wants to be with the boxer, but she didn't just want to be with a boxer. She wants to be with all kinds of, you know, cocky men. But that's the thing. I'm not even blaming her. That was the demon within that was controlled. That was like that puppet master thing. I was like, oh shit, this is not good.
Yeah. Well, it's good you got out of there.
Yes, Elephant. You know, that's why I'm on here preaching with you, baby, because there's so many young men that fall into these traps, man, and they're just sitting there with this beautiful woman with a beautiful ass. Like this girl, bro, she had a great ass. I've never seen an ass like that before. So I had to rewire my brain to like, okay, Elephant, I had to break up with her. I had to break up. I was 18. I've never broke up with anyone before. So my other ex-girlfriends, some of them broke up with me. I was like, wait, what's this? But I think it's because she was so insane that I had to get out of that. So I was thankful for the more normal girl afterwards.
Yeah.
Even though it was heartbreaking when they left me, because then they met someone else, whatever. But I was just happy to be like, see ya. Dude, she even wrote to my mum and said, Tricky broke with me. Like, my mum was like, what the fuck she writing to me? Like, it was so insane.
Well, they say the crazy ones are the best in bed, right, LFA?
Carrie,
so she must have been.
She must have been 10. Good. If I could give her 15 out of 10, I would. It was magnificent. Like I've actually know how to better lay than her, and that's 10 years ago, mate.
Okay, now you were a young guy, and she was super sexual. I'm just curious, and I'm sure the studio audience is curious. How long does a young guy who's 20 years old last with a hottie like her? I'm just curious. Is it 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes like me? No, how long roughly? I'm just curious. It's just, you don't have to tell us, but I am curious how long a guy who's 20 years old would last with a hottie like that, who's good in bed.
I think that, like back then, if I have to
30 seconds.
Back, yeah, like
be honest. Be honest. First... Don't say 20 minutes. If you say over 5 minutes, I won't believe you. No, just kidding.
Yeah. So, Karen, I'm actually having a hard time like remembering like exactly how it went down, but I do remember certain like times we were together, and I remember that she did praise me for my endurance, which was nice.
Ooh.
And I was quite fascinated because. But what I didn't like, and now I'm being really honest, is that, I've not got the biggest schlong in the world. But what she would say, really? She would like give it like nicknames, like Nick, she would say, that's like my little friend, like my little, I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's not what a guy wants to hear, but apparently like she really liked my size. I might not have the biggest in the world, but I can get by. But it was just, she had like funny ways of like approaching the whole thing.
Well, you know why your story is believable, because you're honest about saying you don't have the biggest penis, so it makes your story believable even more. You're an honest guy.
but that's the thing, because none of this right, I'm a man of God, like none of this is forever. So I don't get why people, they're all like, trying to impress this and that. This doesn't last forever. We gotta be honest on a daily basis, baby. Please, you know what I mean?
True.
You know what I mean?
Hey, you know who's dying to talk with you? Christina. She's in the chat. She's dying to speak with you. If you can hang on,
She
we
said
could
she
get
has
her
black
on.
contacts in and she looks like a demon. I told her to call in. We want to see it.
Mm.
Wouldn't you? I think people would like to see that. It would make for an entertaining show to see a girl come on with demon eyes. What do you think, Carrie?
She's got I think so. She's working on a 30-pack. What the fuck is a 30-pack? I mean, no, I know what a 30-pack is. She's on the 28th. Yeah, I know what a 30-pack is. Let's get her on.
But I mean, Carrie. So,
Yeah.
How would you say, like, with your experience, because you're like an older man now, like when you're like with a woman making love and stuff, how's your like endurance? Like, do you like a long time or short time?
Well, it depends on like what age I am, what stage of my life I'm at, who the woman is, what drugs I'm on, what drugs I'm not on. So it all depends. But usually, I mean, let's just say I have good endurance, let's say. I mean, it's, but it's mental too. At my age, you can make it mental. Like I could end it in 2 minutes. I could go 10 minutes. So at a certain point, it does become, you can train your mind to make it mental. You younger guys maybe can't do that. But at my age, you can't.
100%.
LFA, you can train
if I'm drunk, if I'm drunk and the girl's really hot and it's like, I don't have to be up early tomorrow, I'll go all night just because I want the experience. I'm banging this hot chick, but I could also have a quickie. It could be like a 3-minute quickie, and I can win the race. I can be the first one in, the first one out.
Nice.
And it depends also, when was the last time you had sex before or work jacked off? Like I remember when I was younger, guys would like jerk off sometimes before they'd go on a date. This way they wouldn't pre-ejaculate. I never did that. I didn't have to, but guys would do that.
Z's guitar account with the $5 super chat. Thank you for that, sir. I appreciate that very much. He says, hey, don't be feeding our bro to the wolves, especially ones from Canada. He's discussing Christina DK. And yeah, bringing Christina on would be throwing Trick and Tricky to the wolves, but it would make for an interesting conversation. I think we would have a good time if it did happen.
It would.
Amen.
She's the first moderator. She owes it to us to come on.
It's actually crazy, because it's just about with the endurance thing. Because it was once like, this is I think it was the third girlfriend I ever had, but I believe I was like 23. Like she had to go to Spain the day or the next day, and then I was like, all right, so we just have to get like a session in. So we started like 11 o'clock. We ended like late morning, and we just kept going. And there was a time, LFA and Carrie, I actually thought I had like a cardio arrest. Like I thought I had a heart attack because it was so intense. So there's something in my head. If a girl now wants to go to like, longer time, I have to say to her, man, I'm not too sure, baby. Because sometimes like the heart could just, play games on you. I mean, I don't think I was actually dying, but it was so intense. She was like, keep going. I'm like, God. So,
Well, there are guys, I've heard like that guy, Dan Bilzerian, he took 200 milligrams of Viagra and he had a heart attack after sex or something.
Isn't that, RIP, but isn't that what happened to Kevin Samuels? Didn't he take too much Viagra?
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know. I never heard that. I heard he had cardiac arrest, but I don't know if it was driven on by Viagra. I heard a rumor it was coke or something.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it was. I just know he was an older guy and he was with a young hot model when it happened, right?
Oof.
She wasn't that. She was kind of. I thought she was in her third. I don't know. She wasn't that hot. I mean, I recall her sort of being a plus, like a bigger girl. But I guess those are models now.
You might
I know.
like that. You never know.
He's probably did.
Yeah.
But did you watched him, didn't you? I used to watch that dude. He was kind of, I thought it was just good entertainment. You know, it's like,
Yeah. I wanted to, back in the time period when he was first starting to blow up, I was doing like little collabs. Like I did a little one with Myron Gaines and Richard Cooper and Lucario and Steve the Dean. I wanted to have him on, but he started to get so big, like out of nowhere, he went from like, I think his channel was smaller than mine, but then out of nowhere, he just like bursted up to 1 million subscribers. Like it just like happened.
Crazy.
It was like overnight.
well,
And,
yeah, he made
you know,
one video. He had that one video, something about
average,
the woman.
the average,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
average at best or whatever.
Yep. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he
That's a
went
classic.
viral. And next thing you know, he was doing collabs with like Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden and 22 Jumper. I think he was the first Manosphere guy to work on 22 or No Jumper, Adam 22. He's the one that made that like crossover. Now Fresh and Fit and everybody is kind of getting involved in like the mainstream like music industry and stuff. But Kevin Samuels was the first one. And once he started to like blow up like that, I don't think he was responding to anybody's emails if you weren't like, you know, if you weren't a somebody. And rightfully
Well, he got
so.
in a fight. He got in a fight with Fresh and Fit because he didn't want them to live stream during when he was live streaming. That's what I heard.
Yeah. You know what though? I think I mean Kevin Samuels did have some men watching his channel, but I think he had a predominantly female audience. Like predominantly like even like all of the black girls that I know in Tulsa knew about Kevin Samuels. They didn't know what the Manosphere was, but they all knew about Kevin Samuels. They were all watching Kevin Samuels. But I think Fresh and Fit are more of like a young male audience.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what happened. Kevin Samuels. I remember right before he blew up, he was mostly talking to guys. He'd be driving in his car talking to guys, but it never really blew up. Then he had the average video, whatever it is, you know, with the chick. And then that blew up. And then he said, fuck it. I'm just going to start focusing more on women now because of that video. So he shifted over and it was mostly, but you know what? He would live stream. He would get 15,000 fucking people in a fucking live stream in like one night.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be all, 15,000 at once would be in there. Not 15,000 after the stream was down. There'd be 15,000 people in there at one time. That's a big stream if you think about it. Yeah, average at best.
He was. I mean, I would tune in every now and then. I mean, it didn't really like his content didn't really apply to me, but I just found it entertaining. And I mean, I would tune in. He would have $100 super chats, like so many of them on the top. He wouldn't even be able to read them all. He had to get to a point where he would only read like. If it wasn't over 100, there's no chance he would read it. You know, if it was like a $50 super chat, he wouldn't get to it because he was making like probably $10,000 per live stream. And he was going live every night.
Oh yeah. And you know what? His mom or his family, whoever controls that channel now, I notice they're still growing the subscriber base and they're finding old videos of his or whatever because they're still uploading some of his stuff every few weeks. I noticed lately, the last 6 months. So somebody, you know what? Somebody, I'm sure it's his mother because somebody's making still a lot of money off his content and they should, you know what I'm saying? Because he looks good.
Well, if it's still pulling views, somebody should be getting paid for it. And I'm sure he left his, I'm not sure how wills work and all that in your bank account, because it was being deposited. His Google AdSense was going into his bank account. So I'm sure his family members could have access to that.
Oh yeah. What happens is, here's what happens. When you have a trust set up or you have a will, let's say, and then you pass away, what happens is the trustees now even though they may not be signatories on the bank account, your trustees now can go to the bank and say, hey, transfer the account into my name. I'm the trustee now. It takes about a week, and the bank can fuck you around, but that's what you do. You just transfer it into your name, or do an account with your name on it, or you can transfer the money out of the bank, but that's how they do it. Yeah. So nobody gets fucked, but yeah, it's, yeah. Now, I was going to say, Fresh CEO must be doing pretty good because he just bought a new Lamborghini. So.
Oh yeah, those guys have been making tons of money.
Oh no! Did you see Myron's? Did you see Myron's girlfriend? That little South American or Puerto Rican lady. Have you seen her? He's got a girlfriend now.
Like, is he went public about it?
Yeah, he went public because he was.
I haven't seen her. I don't think.
Yeah, Alex Playing with Fire was doing some kind of man on the street video, and he happened to interview her and asked her about the red pill or something. And then somehow Myron caught wind of it, and then he made a video about it that he was pissed off that Alex talked to. I don't know. It was some.
Really?
I don't get involved in. Yeah, there was something going on there. And
is it a public video?
Yeah, the Alex video is public, and then the response vid that Myron did, I can't remember if it was on YouTube. Yeah, I probably saw it on YouTube, but it's not on his channel. It was on some weird channel or something. But yeah, he did a response vid. I saw it all. It's all public. This is nothing. Myron was calling Alex out or so. I don't know. I don't get involved in that shit. I just find it, you know what, to me, here's what the manosphere is to me. You know how guys watch WWE wrestling? I never got caught up in that crap personally. This is my entertainment. This stuff, like what these guys do, I find it kind of funny. It's entertainment. You know what?
Yeah.
And here's what I'm going to explain why Kevin Samuels blew up and why Myron and Fresh CEO blew up. I'll tell you why. One word: COVID. If it wasn't for the lockdown,
hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull this up really quick.
Am I right? If it wasn't for the lockdown, none of these fuckers would have blown up. I'm telling you, the lockdown forced people to watch, like me, to watch these dudes. The lockdown helped these guys blow up. Don't you agree, LFA?
Yeah, I guess.
They did. Lockdown helped Pearly. Anybody that blew up in the last 2-3 years, during the lockdown. It was the lockdown. People were forced to watch these. What else were people going to do sitting at home?
Hang on a second. Is this the girl you're talking about? Can you see this?
If you guys really, really want to see this, I'll show you kind of what I have for this video so far. It's actually going to be a really good video. Just something.
Is that her?
Say multiple, but just go crazy. Like exaggerate. Exaggerate.
She's short.
So you can say he's got to have at least 8 figures in the bank account. He's got to be at least. Pretty obvious.
I think that's a vid.
I don't know what kind of more evidence do black pillars need. 6'1.5".
That's it, I believe.
And he has to.
I have to follow it.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Yeah, you can.
That's her. That sounded like her.
All right, cool. Ready?
Yes.
She's short.
All right, so we have a question for you. What do you look for in a guy?
Well, he has to be 7 feet tall. He has to at least make 6 figures. He has to have no mommy daddy issues. And he has to drive a Lamborghini. He has.
So there we go. Yeah, you guys can see.
Big peanut.
Pretty definitive proof that this
that
is going to
wasn't
be a red pill parody video. It's been it's been a lot of work. I've been filming for 3 days. It's so hard to get like actual good reactions of like shit. But yeah.
Wait, is this her?
That's crazy.
Okay.
She's short.
Never said we were friends. Never said that. Whatever. I just said he used to follow my channel, which is a simple.
Hold on.
Of course.
Okay, so we're making fun of the red pill. So
you're making fun of the red pill.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say like, what do you look for in a guy?
That's her.
I want you to give the most ridiculous answer, like a parody. Like,
I can't see the vid.
Like, he has to have a Lamborghini. I don't do Ferraris.
You see it now?
And he has to have.
That's her.
You guys can see that we're going way over the top of this video. Like clearly, this is gonna be a parody video, and it will be dropped in a day or 2.
Right now?
That's why
this is all off. We're not gonna clue. This is me just giving you instructions. Now, to be fair, I wasn't gonna show this at all. I wasn't gonna because this is boring interaction. Nothing here is exciting. I'm only showing this because she what's it called? She made up her little, I don't know, whatever lie story, or maybe she felt pressured under Myron. I don't fucking know what happened. But the point is she lied, and now I don't give a shit, so I'll show the full video.
You're giving me, okay.
So,
I don't think you got the right girl.
Well, we're making fun of the idea. We're not actually saying you believe in this stuff.
I do believe in the real people.
Okay, but do you believe
I'm a high supporter of the real people.
Okay, but to what extent? Like, do you believe a guy needs to make at least 7 figures, or like, I'm sure you would date a guy who's like makes an average amount of money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you would date a guy who makes an average amount of money. Yeah. Okay, I'm sure you would date a guy who's like less than 6 feet tall, probably. I'm sure you would date a guy who's less than 6 feet tall. Yep. She's just debunking the red pill in her, like, literally by herself. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're making fun of. We're making fun of like the extreme,
idea of like
that like you have to be like 8 feet tall, and then you have to be like a multi-millionaire.
My wife will have a big problem if I do this video.
We can blur out your face.
No, my boyfriend is like very famous for me. Do you know who Myron is?
You're dating Myron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. That's funny. Yeah. What a small world. Yeah, he used to be a big fan of my channel back in the day. Yeah, got to kind of a little bit of an argument. Alex, playing with fire.
Okay.
Yeah, I can understand. Never said we were friends. Never said that. Whatever. I just said he used to follow my channel, which is a simple thing. No, I understand. Yeah, I know Myron. He'll get super butthurt. Now she's making it seem like I was pressuring her into doing the video, but I literally all I'm saying is, okay, I understand.
We'll just pull that off of there. Yeah, she's not bad looking. Anyway, shout out Christina DK, who is live. Hey, do you have the eyes in? Turn the damn lights on.
Yeah. Look at her.
How many beers have you had, Christina?
Well, if you count 30 plus, it might be more.
More? You're already more than 30 beers in?
What do you think her beer budget is for the month? No wonder why she's not married, man. It would cost some dude it's $500 a month just to keep her in beer.
Damn.
I want to see how many times Carrie can do his thing.
How many times I can bother you? Anyway, this gentleman, what do you think of his story? You heard it. Look at her. You know what? Every time she comes on LFA, she's always past. This is a teaching experience. Gentlemen, she's always past the point of consent. Seriously. True. Guys, if you're ever at a club or a bar and you run into somebody who acts like this, don't do a pull on them. No, don't. Maybe get a number at worst. No, just steer clear because
that's good advice. Yeah, if she's super drunk, just don't do it.
And you know what? I'm going to make a point too. If you're with a woman who, you know what, you really don't want to get.
This channel.
No, you're not.
Too fucked up for this shit.
No, you're.
Don't fuck with it. No. What are you doing?
Is that like another dude in the background?
That's Mariano. She brought him along, right?
Yeah. Looks
Adriana
like it.
Says,
okay,
isn't
guys,
that you were wanting him to get on the stream with her, weren't you?
Yeah, that's him. She fucking brought him.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, there's Mariano, by the way.
He's sitting next to you, isn't he?
Of course he is, dumbass. He's
Look at that.
Right beside him.
Wow, what a cute couple. They're all bundled up.
Okay, mama, bye.
Peace.
Look at that. She said they were platonic friends. That doesn't look like platonic friends to me. Does it to you guys?
I don't know. We'll let the chat decide that one.
Z Guitar Account says the overprotective brother. Yeah, the overprotective brother that wants to get in her panties. That's the overprotective brother.
I don't know.
I don't. All I'm saying is what I said last time. In 90% of these cases, in 90%, if she were to text him or call him and say, I'm feeling really sensual. I'm going to keep my language. I'm feeling really sensual tonight. Can you come on over, Mariano? In 90% of the cases where a woman has a relationship like that with a guy, and they're both single, obviously they're single or they wouldn't be that close. The guy will go over there and bang her out. In 90% of the cases, 10% they may not, just even if they're not gay, 10% just because whatever, but 90% they will. Don't you guys agree? I think it's all, you know what, that's why, here's what I'm going to say about guys like Mariano. I'm going to say it once, and I've been in his position too. Here's what these guys should do. If he is really attracted to her, he should at least let her know, you know what, Christina, if you ever were horny, if you ever did want to get down, I'm all for it. I'm all for having sex with you. At least, I'll tell you why. Then he's at least being honest, because we know that's deep down what he wants to do anyway, ultimately. So he's being honest. And also, it lets the girl know that, hey, just in case, he is up for that,
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I think. So you know what? This would be, Christina, if you want to help out with excellent content, can back up with Mariano and have Mariano say, Christina, if you're ever feeling super horny, I'm willing to come over and fuck you. That would be good. If he said that and if she said okay, then you know what that would do? It would make an honest man out of him, gentlemen. It would make an honest man out of him, because we know that's the truth anyway. So we might as well say it. By not saying it now, he's playing Mr.
Gary,
Nice Guy.
How do you know he's not already? Like, who knows? The thing about it is, like, you can speculate on all of that or try to come up with whatever scenarios you want.
Yeah.
But none of us know what's going on there. So,
if he's already, if he's already done it, then it's just what I'm saying doesn't matter. He's already done it. So, but I don't think he has.
Yeah,
I don't think he has. Yeah.
Yep.
She's in there. She says she's rolling on the floor laughing. So I don't know if she's laughing about it, that could, you know what? If she's laughing about it, guys, that could either be a sign that she already fucked him, or that could be a sign that she never fucked him. So you can't tell by her laughing.
Mariano says, I don't kiss and tell.
Can't tell by that either. That could tell me that he really did it and he's not kissing and telling, or that could just be a cope and he's saying that, pretending that he actually did fuck her. So either way, that could be a cope or he actually did do it. You can't tell from a line like that either. We need honesty, where he just comes on here and he says, I banged her out or I didn't.
Right.
and LFA and the Carrie, it's quite
yes.
I was just curious to hear like your guys' opinion, because I just got off the phone with one of my best mates earlier today. He just came back from Norway. He's like a writer and stuff, and and he met like this female writer, and like he was just going on about that he finally like got his in with the kiss thing and holding hands and touching each other and stuff. And now he's on his way. He earlier today he just came back to Copenhagen. And he was like, Trigger, I can't get out of my head. I can't. I'm like, so when are you going back to her? Or when are you going back to the, because she wasn't his main purpose of being there. He was there to go on this like writing school. But now it's like, she's occupied his mind. It like warped his mind. So now he's like, I should go there in December. But I'm like, but wait a minute, weren't you supposed to go there back in January? Like, can you afford to go back? He's like, no. But I would love to just be with her again. I'm like, and I wasn't sure what to say to him. Like, I'm like, should you just go with it or should you just back off a bit? Like, what would you guys say?
You should. I think I missed part of what you said.
Yeah, he met this girl in Norway, like this other writer girl, and he had like a nice night with her yesterday, and then he came back to Copenhagen early on today, and like his purpose was just to be there to write, but now he's like going there just to like forget about the writing. Now it's just more about this girl.
Well, we learned the other night that Norwegian girls are hot. Wait, no, Swedish girls are hot, but the Swedes and the Norwegians are pretty much the same, aren't they?
Kind of, yeah. Like because like I'm half Danish, and like we all have this like kind of we have this closeness.
Nordic.
It's not quite the same language, but it's very close. Like I can tell when the Swedish is Sweden and the Norwegian girl is Norway.
Yeah,
I was actually with a Swedish girl the other week, and
Sweden has Stockholm. Sweden is ranked like some of the prettiest girls in the world, the prettiest girls of Europe, I believe. I think.
They're all Scandinavian countries. That's what he's trying to say. They're all part of Scandinavia.
Yeah. And the fate, like my good pal, he's warped. Like I could hear in his voice, this girl fucked him up like bad. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I want to go there now. I'm like, no, you have to stay here until January, mate.
Regardless of how good looking she is, he needs to have his life. He needs to have a life to where he's not leaving the country to hook up with girls in other countries. But I guess if you live in the UK, Norway is kind of, you can probably take a boat to Norway, can't you?
Yeah. Even from Denmark, we have like it's called the Oslo Fair, so you could just take it.
Oh, you're in Denmark?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were in the UK.
It's because that I've got a English father, and then he met my mum back in the day in Denmark.
Okay.
So I'm half English and half Danish.
How long does it take to take a boat from Denmark to where do you go? Like Kristiansand, Norway? Or where's the boat take you?
To be fairly fair, I'm not quite sure how long the distance is, but I believe you can take it to a place called Bergen, but in English I think it's Bergen.
Bergen.
When my father was young, he was a DJ on a Norwegian boat, and he used to go to Copenhagen, back to Norway all the time, and he would like just live on that shit and just be with the women.
You can also take a train down to Paris, and then Paris you could take the Channel, that underground system that goes under the English Channel. That's longer, I guess, but you could you could go that route.
Yeah, you can take trains all over Europe, can't you?
Yes. I've been to Berlin. I've been to like France. I've took a flight, of course, to England. Been on some boats here and there, like in the Scandinavian countries, but like I've definitely been about. But I'm just a bit like concerned for my mate, because it's like, because I'm trying to listen after these like red flags, and apparently she's a girl that gathers a lot of male attention. I'm like, mate, she could be with, she could be like with like a new guy by the time you go back in like January.
We have a term for that in this country. What your friend is, 2 words. He's pussy whipped.
Yes,
right, LFA. He's pussy whipped.
I actually saw 2 pictures of her earlier, mate, and I have to say she was drop dead gorgeous. And I even told my friend, you might have run into one of these like Elvis Presley songs. She's a devil in disguise. You just never know, baby.
Well, believe me, if she was 200 plus pounds, he wouldn't be pussy whipped, and he wouldn't be rushing back there, or he wouldn't want to rush back there. So obviously, she's not over 200 pounds. Can you imagine, LFA, if she's 300? Can you imagine if he pulled up a picture of her and she weighed 300 pounds, and he's telling us his friend wants to rush back to a 300-pound woman?
He's very choosy, Kerry. He's literally the split image of, because I've heard you talk about he's like big, like you like skinny women. He's like you, but just like 4 years younger. he could be like your grandson.
He's 4 years younger than me, or 4 years younger than you.
Oh,
wait, any guy that's Elevate. Any guy that's 4 years younger. any guy over 50 should not be getting pussy with. So he's got to be 40. There's no way a guy over 50 can get pussy with.
He's 30 actually, 30. But he was born with like a he was born 4 months earlier, so he's like, if you look at him, he's totally normal, but he does have some autistic sides, but you just never notice them. But he's actually a really funny guy, and he's pretty, so he can get with all of these honeys. But his problem is that he falls so quick for these pretty girls, and that's the only one that he like selects. I'm like, mate, be careful with that. Like, oof, like stop sticking with these hot women.
He needs to be with a few fat ones. This way he won't get.
He would
you know
never
what, guys?
He's like you, Carrie.
Practice on some fat chicks.
You know what, LFA? Don't you agree? If a guy, you know what? If you're a guy who's a virgin or only been with a few women, I think you're better off being with a couple of overweight women. I'll tell you why. You're not going to get pussy
all
with.
Kinds of women. I date hot chicks, fat chicks, in between chicks. There's a bar that I usually go to. The lady behind the bar looks at me. If I bring a fat chick in, because she see me with like a 10, she's like, "What are you doing? Why are you settling?" She even said to the lady behind, like the one I was with, she told like, "Are you serious with him?" "No, I'm just dating him." She see me with hot women. She's like, "What are you doing? Stop it!" But that's because I like the variety of different selections. You know.
All right, hang on to that thought. Hang on to that thought. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, Gilbert Gottfried, USA Up All Night, and we're watching The Girl I Want. And in this next part of the movie, everybody strips down stark naked and starts running around with primitive abandon. And, well, what do you want? My head's in a jar and I can't see anything. I just have to fantasize what's going on. Let's go back to The Girl I Want. Then Lene Quigley, stark naked, starts doing these cartwheels.
They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green, the grossest little creatures that you've ever seen.
Creepy crawlers! Creepy crawlers! Creepy crawlers, other plastic goop compounds and molds sold separately from Toymax.
Listen to hot, steamy sex from the people who love you the most. Your parents.
Try a little to the left, Dad.
Come on, you can spank Mom harder than that.
Finish her!
Oh my God, Mom, you are such a freak. Now I know where I get it from.
And now back to the movie with women who really know how to kill a good time. Among other things, Cemetery High on USA Up All Night.
All right, we're back.
Yes.
Okay, so you can pick up where you left off if you want.
Yes. No, I just think that it was also just to like also help myself, like maybe just like to hear your guys' thoughts and how like to like cooperate with my friend and his thoughts, because it seems like he has so many like boundaries when it comes to like, oh, it's got to be like this particular look, oh, it's got to be this particular smell, this particular height, hair length. I'm like, mate, sort yourself out. Like,
yeah, well, you know, he's just he's got to talk to more women. You know,
yes.
if you're a guy that's very sensitive and you just pair bond with every woman that you go on a date with, then yeah, you need to, there's, for a man, you have to have like a happy medium. You don't want to become such a like desensitized man whore that you don't want any girlfriends at all. You just want to have sex with as many women as possible. And you're just a sex addict that can't be faithful or anything. But you don't want to be such a beta that you just fall in love with every woman you go out with. So you need some experience in there. And that's what he needs. I mean, and when Carrie says to hook up with some fat chicks, that's actually,
Good
that would
advice.
actually work. Like that would actually help out. Like, cause he would, he would just learn that, women are fairly disposable. Like we all are, you don't have to get stuck on one woman. But at the same time, if he meets a good one, he does want to be stuck on her. Like that's good if you're stuck on each other. But whatever.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, well, first of all, if he's here's my thoughts. If a guy's pussy whipped, it doesn't mean he's in love or he loves the lady. It just means he's it's more of a lustful thing. So
true.
If you're getting pussy whipped by a chick and it's lust, then
he could be in love with her. He could be attached to her.
It's also because that like they like had back-to-back evenings where they were watching this book reading thing, and they were like joking together because there was like a guy on the stage that he was a bit of like a Chad, and he just didn't know how to like read from the book, and they were like, I like making fun of him, but they were like having like an intimate moment, like, oh, he doesn't know, but he knows how to talk to women. So they were like chatting, they were like making out, with this vibes. They were like having some things in like common. And then the next evening, then he made a move and like worked out. They were kissing and touching, and then she was like, "Oh, I look forward to see you." But it sounded like earlier on today when I was speaking with him that he was like gone, like he was in love. Like I was like, man, I don't think that I can pull him back.
Damn.
Well, LFA, do you agree with me on this? No guy wants to be pussy whipped. I mean, yeah, you want to have good sex, but you don't want to be in that pussy whip position because that's when that's when the JJ becomes like a drug to you or something like heroin, and then you'll do anything for it. And once you're in a position to do anything for it, you'll compromise a lot of your boundaries and other stuff, and that makes for a shitty relationship. So I don't believe guys should be pussy whipped, but LFA, what do you think about this? I don't think there's anything wrong with penis whipping a lady. That's okay. I'll tell you why that's okay. Because if a guy's pussy whipped, I'll tell you why. Because it's usually the women that will weaponize.
From the male end, yeah. I mean, you say that because if you've got a woman dick whipped, then it doesn't really, like, you're not in any danger. But if it was your sister and she was dick whipped by some, lunatic, then.
Well, yeah. No, hopefully it's her husband or boyfriend. But what I'm saying is, here's why it's better that way. Because women tend to weaponize sex. They'll withhold it from you if you're not a good boy, or they'll give it to you if you are a good boy, whatever. They're going to weaponize it. With men very rarely weaponize sex, with women. True. Isn't that true?
But women only weaponize it, or they only use it. It's not weaponized. It's just a manipulation tactic.
Well, that's what weaponizing is in a sense, manipulate. Yeah, but guys don't.
True.
In other words,
but they only use that if you're a beta and they have the upper hand. And I don't mean that from like a legal standpoint, because anytime if you get married or you have kids with a woman, she always has the upper hand from a legal standpoint, and anywhere in the West. But I'm just talking about intersexual dynamics. If she doesn't have the upper hand in terms of like romance and sexual activity and all that, then she's not going to be able to weaponize it. But if the dynamics that you set in the relationship, and this is important, is that you fuck her as a reward. Like, because women love to have sex. They love attention. She loves that when a man makes her feel sexy. So like if she's having a bad day, you can use sex as something to turn her day around or make her feel good. You know what I'm saying? So sex should also be a tool that you use. It's not just, she doesn't have all the leverage from that standpoint. And if she does, you certainly shouldn't get into a long-term relationship with her. That's my opinion.
Well, let's fit. But you know what? You know how they always say I'm going to make a statement. I'd say 80-90% of their relationships, this is why relationships probably don't work over the long haul, like 20, 30, 40 years. Well, maybe then they work, but here's why relationships tend not to work. Because in most cases, guys, there's usually somebody that needs the other person more than the other. You know what I'm saying? It might be the guy that needs the woman more. It might be the woman that needs
but
the guy more.
that's an illusion. That's not real. That's an illusion.
Well,
so men
okay,
need to
but
be
even if-
logical, and you need to understand that that's just an illusion. And if you feel like that's real, if you feel like you need her more than she needs you, you need to chill out. You need to. That's when you should go no contact. That's
no, but
the
what I'm
time
saying
for no
is,
contact. You don't use no contact to manipulate her and try to turn her on and get her back. You don't ignore women to manipulate them and turn them on and try to get them back. You ignore her and go no contact to get yourself back.
well, if it's an illusion, it could be an illusion, but it's a mindset, let's say. But what I'm saying is, it does occur, whether it's an illusion or not. It does happen to certain people. But I'm just going to say the best relationships, at least the ones I've been in and I see other people in, it's kind of like this. Both people need each other equally in a way. And it's kind of like this.
Here's what it is. It's like there's always a little bit of a runner and a little bit of a chaser. But it's like you're both holding on to a rope. So whenever you run, they chase because they're holding onto the rope too. But whenever you stop, they can start running and then you chase them. I don't know. That's kind of the dynamics of a relationship, because it goes up and down. Like, you may be having like a class reunion or something, and you're going to see all the girls you went to high school with, and your girlfriend is going to be like jealous. Like, oh shit, like these are all the girls that you went to high school with. And then vice versa, you might go to her high school reunion and you'll be jealous of her. So in certain situations, one person has a little bit of power in terms of like jealousy and shit like that, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's the healthy jealousy. Here's what I want to say real quickly though, before I forget. This is a better way of framing that whole thing I just said. This is the best relationships. Guys, I'm going to tell you a hint after, and I just figured this, I mean, this is something, it sounds very logical what I'm going to say, and everybody will say, yeah, that's obviously true. But this has to occur. This is the best. It's kind of like this. It's like when you as a guy know that that woman is the woman you're interested in or dating, whatever, that you would, here's how simple it gets. When you know that you would rather be with her on any given day than anybody else in the world, and if she feels the same way about you, that she would rather be with you, you know, than anybody else in the world, then that's how you see. And it sounds like that's obvious, but a lot of times, you know, when you hear people are settling and all this stuff, the guy may want to just be with her over anybody else, but she may have some other dude in the back of her mind and she's settling for that guy. So, you know what I mean? Both people have to equally say, that's why, you know what, it's almost imperative that they're kind of best friends, you know. Yeah,
we lost you, but you're back on.
So where'd you lose me at? No, I was just saying.
Go back about 30 seconds.
Oh, no, I'm just saying you really want to be I noticed with the long-term relationships that I've been in and the guys I know that have been married 30, 40 years, they're best friends with their spouses and their spouses are best friends with them. They have to be best friends if they're going to go 20, 30 years together. Yeah.
Yep. Christina DK just on the moment hit member for 15 months.
Whoa.
So, my longest running member. Maybe some other people will hit those sort of numbers too. Nice. Yeah.
God.
Shout out Christina DK.
What a testament to mankind. She should come back on.
Yeah.
Yes. What did that 15 months cost her? $1.99? Yeah. Cost her $30, I think. What is it, like $2 a month? I don't know. But no.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what, guys? Let me make an announcement. It is only like $2 a month, like $1.99, $2, $2.99. More people should sign up, don't you think? I think so.
I don't like to put pressure on people.
I do.
You know,
I do. I'll put the pressure on for you then. Sign up, you cheap fuck. No.
well, the other channel does okay. If I do a live stream, and get no super chats, I get like $1. Super chats are cool. Like it's nice to get them. And Z's guitar account donated today, so we're okay. But I don't know. People randomly send super chats, and that's cool. But that's whatever.
Why did you decide to cut? What time? Why did you decide to come on? Why did you come on Tuesday and have a show? You don't ever do shows on Tuesday.
Well, we've people had requested that we did one we added another night during the week. I don't really have much going on like Tuesday nights anyways. It's just I just pretty much chill and relax. But I'm chilling and relaxing doing this too. I don't want to stay up too late, but not like Thursday I can stay up as late as I want, like 4 hours, but
no, yeah. I'm just curious. Why does a guy like you reference sometimes you're up at 6 a.m. or early? Why would you have to wake up super early if you kind of like, what are you doing up at 6 a.m.? If I had your schedule, I'd wake up at 9 or 10. I mean, I don't know. That's just like, what's at 6 a.m.? You're not filming or nothing, right?
No, I mean, I have other ways that I make money, not just YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think this gentleman was going to say something before I rudely interrupted him.
It's all right, Gary, mate. It's all right. No, it's just just wanted to share a bit about this semen retention journey.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Now we're talking. Now he's talking about. Let me ask you this. It sounds like you've been on it. Maybe you could, while you're telling it, just interject whether you're able to. If the squirrels over in Europe allow you to eat out of their hands on semen retention, because in America the squirrels will eat out of your hand if you're on semen retention. If you're not on semen retention, they'll just fucking run away. They won't even come near you. Can you address that in your talk? Sorry.
Yes. It's funny because like I really do believe that there's so few men practicing this beautiful method that I can see, like, public transportation. If I'm driving, looking around, you can see like a lot of men. I don't know. I can tell when a guy has been busting, And
I thought you were going to say you could see guys jerking off while you're driving around. No, if you're a truck driver, you probably can. I swear. You know what? Every one of us has probably driven and jerked off at the same time, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thanks. But it's just funny, like just practicing it, like because I don't want to, share this knowledge with many people because they just don't understand it. So I just try to keep it amongst LFA, you guys.
It's a sacred knowledge. It's like a Gnostic sacred knowledge. You can't tell everybody, right?
Exactly, because like, so I was out with this girl 2 weeks ago and last week. So second time she wanted to invite me home to her place. She lives about an hour from my place. And I was like, nah, not too soon, but I agreed to on the up and coming Friday. But now I'm like debating whether I should sleep with her or just retain while I'm on the date. Because she's like, I can feel she's like hungering for my essence, my energy. Like she's like quite sensual, but I just didn't feed into it. So I do feel like this semen retention thing, it also can like hype up a woman. It could just like, she kind of like acted crazy on the day. I was just looking at her like, what the fuck? I'm not sure if you guys have been witnessing like a woman like lose her mind. It's as if I was like
pretty much
Bill or Elvis. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, no, pretty much everybody that has done it or tried it, and people that have never done it and never tried it, they're never going to believe it.
No,
they just don't.
Never.
And I didn't believe it before I tried it, but when you do it, you okay, whether it's I'm not saying it's like a
Psychological.
magical force or some shit like that. Your testosterone goes up. You have a different look in your eyes. You know,
You're not as tired.
Your confidence is up. Your serotonin and dopamine is up. You feel good about yourself. Literally, like Prawn was saying, you're standing outside and like a cool breeze comes by and it feels like the breeze feels better than sex. Like it's just like you just feel so good about everything. And
That's the reason I
seriously,
don't do it.
seriously, it's like it's just such a good feeling that it's hard for people to not like you when you're on it because you just feel so good about yourself. Your confidence is so high. Other people want to be around that. I mean, those are attractive traits.
Yeah, but if it was better than sex, everybody would want to be an incel, wouldn't they?
Well, the problem is most incels are porn addicts and escort addicts. So
True.
they're definitely not doing retention. And I think porn is probably a big reason for incels. You know, if you've been jerking off to internet porn since you were 12 years old,
like me.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, especially
just kidding.
People like the second somebody gets a cell phone or they get a laptop in their bedroom or whatever, that's the second that they become porn addicts.
And it's so crazy, LFA, because like I remember like I started to use this PMO thing when I was 10. Like there was a guy, he gave me like a note of websites. I was like, what the fuck is this? Came home to my parents' computer and just started to upload it. And it just warped my mind. Like I would say like when I discovered you, when I discovered someone else, like I just started to like realize, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? Like some years back. And then when I like quit the porn thing, then sometimes it still had like a hold in me, so I came back to it. But now I've like left it for, I've not really counted days, but it's definitely been some months for sure. I just feel like I'm a kid again. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Like these like senses that we talk about with this breeze thing. Like I was actually at the grocery store the other day, and like there was like a mum with her like child besides me, and the mum and child were just looking at me, and I just looked at them back. I smiled and I said, "Have a nice day." And they were like, "You too, you too, you too." And I was like, "Whoa," you know, everyone was just so polite. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, well, your behaviors might be a little different when you're desexualized, because I know porn for me was never something like, it didn't turn me into an incel. It did the opposite of that, to be honest with you. But I understand why it would turn some guys into incels, just because like if they wake up in the morning and they watch porn and they beat off and then they take a fucking lunch break and then they do it when they get home, then they're constantly sedated and their sex drive is not going to be high enough in public for them to even want to have sex because they waste it all. But for me, it was like, I was never like addicted to it. It just turned me into like a freak. You know, when you watch porn, you might start out just watching a regular porn, just like the chick in the porn is hot, so you watch it, right? But then you're like going down a rabbit hole and it's like chicks getting fucked in the ass while another girl's spitting in her mouth and like some weird shit's going on. You know what I mean? That's how it is, right? Like you start watching this and then you start to go down to this weird rabbit hole of like, just, weird shit. And then you want to do that shit. Whatever weird shit you see on there, it makes you want to go out and do it.
Really? I'm more
totally
conservative.
Relate. Like LFA, like I used to watch like some different like categories, and I remember like I was with a girl, so she asked me like if I watched it and if there was some things I'd like to try. So I just shared some things. There were some things she didn't want to do, and there were some things she wants to do. And I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. But even like I had to get away from some of that because I could see, wait a minute, this is I don't think this is the right way to like do it. Like it got kind of like evil, and I was like, oh, I'm a man of God. I can't be doing these things anymore.
Well, the Bible doesn't say you can't jerk off. There's nowhere in the Bible, in the Old Testament, I don't recall anywhere that says don't jerk off. Do you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it says something about like lust or something, but I don't know.
I don't think jerking off is. Well, jerking off, not real lust. Here's a point I'm going to make too. It's way more damaging now because these guys are doing it to. In other words, when we were younger, when I was like of that age, you mostly just had the Sears catalog or a Playboy if you were lucky, but or you had to use your imagination, right? And remember, think about some chick at school. But these guys today, they could be literally like, I remember when it started getting where they could stream it over the internet and the cell phones. You know what my first thought was? I was thinking, how many guys now are going to be at work? And this is probably true. How many guys now, ever since you could stream porn on a smartphone the last 10 years, whatever, how many guys now all of a sudden were liberated where they could go be at work, duck into a bathroom stall, maybe whip out a little coke, maybe not, do a little blow, whatever, and then all of a sudden they could just jerk off right there in 10 minutes and just go back to their fucking desk and work. See, they made it so accessible. Like when I was younger, you had to go to like a theater to watch it. They had a couple of theaters in Orange County or something where you had to go to like a bookstore that was an adult store where you could watch dirty movies in there. And
they got one of those in downtown Tulsa. I always it's right next to all the clubs and the bars and shit. So like people are always walking around going from club to club and bar to bar, and you always have to walk past it. And there's always weird gay dudes standing outside, just like trying to seduce drunk men.
Well,
they have one of those adult movie theaters inside of there, though. I couldn't imagine how fucking filthy that must be inside of there.
But like,
well, the floors are the floors are always sticky. Go ahead. The floors are always sticky in there.
Yeah, like it's actually crazy because I was once with this lady, and like she used to work with like kids and stuff, and she said like that 5th graders, like 6th graders, like they would go like take each other to the bathroom and like go like down on each other. Like we're talking like kids, like crazy activities. Like she would like tell me about what happened at the school she was working at. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this programming of pornography, things like that. It's actually sickening, man. Like it's just damaging a whole society. Like it's making even kids turning into like earlier sexual beings. It's just crazy. Like,
oh yeah,
something's got to be done to stop this madness, man. It's absolutely chaotic.
They got this gender stuff right now in the elementary schools. Is that what's happening near you too? It's all over now in the Western world.
Like it's just you can just see like on the billboards, just everywhere. It's just sex. I know that it's always been a magazine thing, but it's just becoming more and more, pedophile-ish, crazy.
Yep.
It's very sick. Very sick.
Just let these kids discover all that shit on their own. Don't have to sit there and, drill them with all this crazy shit.
I was thinking, she even told like dads have parent meetings, teachers, intervening and saying like, what are you guys doing? Like, but you just can't stop them because like the face said, the devices are everywhere, like on the phones, you go home, there's another tablet there, it's just like everywhere and they don't know how to stop it.
Yeah.
Well, see, the trouble, like I said, they've done studies. I said this before. The guys that sit there and jerk off, spank it, drain their lizards continually especially these young guys, because the brain doesn't fully form till you're 25. So you take a guy who's 15 to 25 and he's doing that every day or 2-3 times a day sometimes, and he's doing it where he's watching the porn. What happens is they do become so desensitized that when you put these guys actually with a woman, they can't even get an erection, number one. And number two, they think that every woman is a porn star, so their standards get high. They think that unless a woman looks like a porn star, they don't want to have sex with them. And then also they think that every woman is going to bang you like a porn star. And also, too, here's the problem, too. It also makes a lot of these guys look at these porn star chicks, and a lot of them now are young. They look innocent, like Lana Rhoades, even though, when she started out, they look kind of innocent, right? And almost like the girl next door or the cheerleader, right? And what happens is these guys watch these women in different pornos getting banged out by all these different dudes, and they start thinking that that's the average chick, that the average woman is being banged out by all these dudes. And you know what? I'm going to make this statement. As promiscuous as some women are, I think it's not a super high percent. I don't think it's over 30% of all women that are going out there and being super promiscuous and just having a bunch of hookups.
Most women, like, especially like if you were to watch like red pill streams, they think like if you're a baller, you can just basically message women and tell them you want to fuck and they'll come do it. And like the black pilled guys think if you're a Chad or a Tyrone, then you know all you got to do is reach out to a woman and she'll come over and fuck you. But most women will like block you or delete you. And trust me, I talk to a lot of Giga Chads and Tyrones that go through it all too. If you don't like come correct and respectfully to most women, they're not going to deal with you. I mean, because their sex drive is not stimulated the same way that men's are. Like if a hot girl sends me a message and says she wants to suck my dick, it's going to turn me on. But if a hot dude sends a message to a hot chick and says he wants to go down on her, usually it's not going to turn her on. That's not how you turn women on. You know, you don't just disrespectfully say something perverted and they're like all into you.
Right. But let me make a point. But if that woman you have a relationship with, she's your girlfriend or wife, then you could say stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In the right circumstances. Yeah. Because she wants to be, women like to be sexualized by the man that they're like in love with or whatever. But typically, like if you're a Chad or a Tyrone, or, you know, you just have a lot of game or whatever, women want to be stimulated emotionally usually. So like if a Giga Chad stimulates a woman emotionally, that's what's going to make her want to fuck him, you know, and that's what's going to make her feel special and, you know, all fucking high on her emotions and shit. So that's what you're supposed to do. And typically during that process, even if the dude's a Giga Chad, he's going to develop a connection to the girl too. So that starts a relationship. It's not like in porn, people think it's just like you walk up to some girl in the locker room and she's like staring at your bulge and, you know, pulls it out and you just start fucking. Like, I think guys watch porn and they think that's how it's going to be, but women, that's not how women are turned on.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
also yeah, go ahead.
No, it's like,
I was going to say,
it's just,
go ahead.
Problematic because like you can see that like a lot of these men, like, I really think that young men are under huge like waves of, you know, you can call it demonic, like whatever, but this porn thing is just going in. And like you said, the face is just teaching them like the maneuvers of like interacting with women. Like, and it's actually very evil if you think about it, like, because they just think, oh, that's how we're gonna do it. And then they end up going out doing these acts and they go up in jail. Like they just go over the boundaries, they go over all kinds of, you know, they're not learning the real way of interacting with women. It's like, it's very sad. Like, so hopefully like parenting can come in, they could be like, this is not good for you, Timmy or Jimmy or whoever you are, you know, and really like stick behind them, like, and try to like, get them away from porn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's such an imbalance. You got, what do they say? The top 20% of guys are banging most of the women. And then you've got the other extreme where you got 30% of dudes who under 30 not having any sex at all or virgins. So that, and then you've got 50% left. They're in the middle. Those are guys that probably have sex occasionally, who knows what, but it's just skewed now where, you know what I mean? It's like, with Tinder and all this, it does. I mean, let's face it now, man. A woman can be in one city and specifically target guys 30, 40 miles away where she knows she could go over there and hook up and not know anybody in that city. So women, but here's what I'm going to say to that. If you think about it, if a woman's halfway decent looking, she can pretty much just go out in any club, bar, and just make it known that she wants to get laid. And the challenge to women is to be disciplined enough just not to sleep with any dude that comes up to them, not to sleep with a bunch of guys. That's easy. So my attitude is if a woman's going to be hooking up with guys, she can do it on Tinder, or she could just fucking do it off Tinder, and she could just go into a club and do it. She could be, here's how easy it is for women, guys. She could be at a fucking, just a donut shop or a Starbucks. Here's how easy it is. She could be at a Starbucks, and she could just, if she's attractive enough, she could just start a conversation with the dude and give the guy enough choosing signals to know that she's interested in him. And if she wanted to bang him right then and there, most likely, maybe she could if he's not going to work or if he's interested, or maybe he'll take a rain check and give her the number. But it's that easy for women. It really is. So the fact that it's so easy, think about it. If it's so easy, a lot of women realize if it's that easy, they don't have to be going out there banging around that much. And that's why a lot of women, some of women, get more enjoyment just off the intent. There are women out there that get more enjoyment off men's attention than actually having sex with men. Seriously.
Yeah. And and it's so like crazy because like these young men coming up now, they're gonna be like, okay, this is just the way it is, this is the way it is. And like we as the like older, like I'm not like that old, but at least I've been in the time where I've like seen like, the maneuverings of how this works, that works. You see the older generation, how they used to do it. You see the current, and now here we're now open the future. And you can see a lot of these young men making so many mistakes is because they've not been guided towards how you actually do it. And how you actually do it is also being under attack because you're meeting this new wave of women coming in who's like criticizing the way you do it, which actually used to work back in the day, but now it's like a new thing. You have to be this way, you have to be that way. That's why I'm just sticking to my purpose, sticking to my knowledge, because I know what works. I've always done it, but it's just about pushing those demons aside and not letting them having any effect on you, because you know your truth, you know your path. Don't let no one like derail you off of that shit.
True. Guys, I got to end this one.
All right. Can I just say one more quick thing? If you think about it, LFA, the women that are going to be the most promiscuous out there are probably the ones that some of them tend to be the craziest too. Like if you look at the women that are really getting, having a lot of hookups and stuff, probably 50% of them are on some kind of psychotic I mean, in other words, a lot of them they're narcissistic, they have borderline personality disorder, they have all kinds of weird shit. So don't just be fucking chicks you don't know, and get the likes up. More importantly than not fucking chicks you don't know, get the likes and subs up. Right?
Damn right.
And we want to say goodbye to Christina, Adriana, Beautiful Life, all those folks out there. Got to say bye to them.
Lost subscribers tonight.
Not because of me, right?
Thanks for having all of us under the face. It's been always a pleasure, mate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime, buddy.
All right. Signing off.
All right. Peace.
Peace out.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for coming out. I think, we started out okay, and I think we finished okay. Thanks to Z's guitar account. He says laters for being the sponsor of tonight's stream. Shout out to Z's guitar account. Also, shout out to Christina DK, member for 15 months. Appreciate that. Shout out to the chat. Everybody that, joined us. Shout out to the callers. Shout out to the YouTube content creators that we reacted to earlier. And I suppose we will end on that note. I'll be live on Thursday, so I'll see you guys on Thursday. Might have a video tomorrow, but I'm not quite sure yet. But for sure, we will definitely be live on Thursday night. So, all right, guys. Hope this video was somewhat entertaining, somewhat informative, but that's about it for tonight, guys. Until next time, peace out.